Hi everybody, it's DelusionDispeller live today on Facebook Live. It is so good to see everybody here, whoever comes in. And I'm excited to be here again. We're going to be talking about borderline personality disorder. Going to conclude that topic tonight and hopefully get on to something a little bit different next week. I try to do these weekly live shows as per your request. And if anybody cannot hear me, I would definitely like to hear from you. Meanwhile, while you're coming into the room, please click on something to let me know that you're here. A heart, smiley face, a like, whatever the system offers you, and we'll know that you're live with me inside the broadcast. Anyways, yeah, so I'm just waiting for some people to show up here. I see that Shawnee Ann has joined. She is our wonderful moderator. Shawnee, let us know where you're from. I'm going to just ask people to say hi and where they're from tonight so that I know who's joined us. All right, we got a thumbs up. That's the other thing you can give is a thumbs up. Definitely one of those. All right. Okay, I have a lot, and I mean a lot, to share, which I have tried my best to condense down to the bare minimum. So I'm excited to tell you. Sorry, I have cat hairs in my mouth because I have 4 cats. All right. I'm excited to tell you and share this information with you about the borderline personality disorder. And first, before I get started, I have a special guest with me. And no, she is not borderline nor affected by the disorder. She might be a little histrionic, but she's not borderline. Anyways, without further ado, I'm going to introduce you to my wonderful daughter, Amber. You can say hi, Amber. It's okay. They can probably hear you on the microphone, most likely. Go ahead.
Hi.
That sounds kind of, or it kind of looks goofy, doesn't it? All right. Anyways, Amber, where are you from?
Illinois.
Okay. Do you want to tell us a little bit about yourself?
My favorite color is purple.
You're goofy.
I'm a junior in high school. I work at Hy-Vee, and
Shawnee says hi to Amber.
pretty much it.
Okay. Well, we are glad you have joined us, and now go play.
Don't play. What am I? I'm 4 years old.
No, she's going to be doing some singing tonight on Shmuel, which is a really fun singing program on the computer. All right. Anyway. So, without further ado, I'm going to get right into what I'm going to share tonight. Let me get my notes out here. I actually learned quite a bit on a few people's videos tonight that I was watching and kind of compiled it into my own notes. So I'm just going to, I may seem like I'm repeating myself, and I'm not meaning to, but unfortunately, I can't go back and watch every single word I said on the last live broadcast. So I'm just going to try to do my best to share the information, and if it's redundant, you'll forgive me, hopefully. All right. So we're talking about the borderline personality disorder. Another thing about borderline is somebody with borderline personality disorder has efforts to try to keep from being abandoned. And later on in the broadcast, I am going to talk to you about actually the signs of borderline personality disorder to look for to know if somebody is borderline. So the thing with a borderline is there's a lot of people that are afraid of being left, deserted, rejected, abandoned. But with a borderline person, a person with this disorder, they will get upset if you don't sit next to them, if you check your mail and don't invite them to come and join you, if you talk to your friends or family without them, or even with them sometimes, because they think you're talking against them a lot of times, even if you're not. If they hear you on the phone and they sense that maybe you're getting into an area that makes them kind of look bad or make them look like they did something wrong, yeah, they will definitely freak out over that. Okay. There is a period of idealization and devaluation with borderline personality disorder. When you are in the idealizing phase, when the borderline is idealizing you, they adore you. They adore the ground you walk on. They love everything about you and everything you do, and you are their bestest friend. In fact, they never met anybody quite like you. They include you in everything. They show you off like you are some kind of a prize pony. They will verbally acclaim you everywhere you go, to everybody that they meet. They will tell people what a wonderful person you are and how blessed they are to be the one that you chose for their best friend and bosom buddy. All right, so they go from that, but then the day will come when they do what's called devaluating you. That's a hard word to say, I guess. Which means they could do anything from lying about you, verbally abusing you, putting out false allegations against you in court or to your friends. But it's a very drastic turn from, wow, I thought you adored the ground I walked on. I thought you were singing my praises. What happened here? Why all of a sudden are you putting me down and demoting me? That is how the borderline does things. All right, some of them. Okay, and we're talking about extreme cases here. And I actually watched a video tonight that was really, really good. And the guy actually said, a lot of people think that we're stigmatizing people with disorders. And he said, unfortunately, people with disorders tend to overreact to things. They tend to mistreat and abuse other people. So what we are doing, people that are giving a voice to the victims, is letting the victims know what's up and letting them know how to protect themselves against borderlines. Now, does that mean they're a terrible person if they have borderline personality disorder? No, but they do terrible things to people if they don't get help. And that was my whole point, is that if you have these disorders, you really need to be getting help for them. All right. A borderline has a very unstable self-image. They don't know who they are. They know nothing of who they are. They can be very totally unpredictable. They derive their sense of self from the reactions of other people. So therefore, since they're always watching to see how the other person is acting or reacting, so they know how to react, you never know when, if you say the wrong thing in their eyes or their perception, or you do the wrong thing, you'll never know when that explosion is coming your way. So they can be going along coasting and you seem like you have this nice little friendship, and all of a sudden, bam, they just blow up into a fit of feathers and you just don't know why. You're like, what did I do? What did I say? That is the borderline behavior also. All right. Borderlines can be very seductive. A lot of them use their sexual charms to seduce and woo people. They will dress very provocatively a lot of times. That's why I think the histrionic personality disorder is kind of comorbid with the borderline personality disorder a lot of times. But not all of them are histrionic. But that is a very common behavior, to see them being very lustful and seductive to other people at times. And even in inappropriate places, they will dress very, I guess you could call it suggestive. I would call it sleazy, but with very low cut outfits. They'll go to church like that. I mean, they don't have a sense of properness in the right places sometimes. All right. There are often extreme behaviors associated with borderline personality disorder. The guy that I was listening to today was talking about, and I listen to a lot of different people's videos, or watch them, and I read a lot of things. He was talking about how if you get into a car with somebody that is in a borderline situation, like they're borderline, and they are angry or they're frustrated about something, be prepared if they are driving the car to become the hood ornament because they can be very erratic in their behaviors and very extreme in their behaviors. They often, I did talk about this last week, I remember a little bit, they're cutters a lot of times. They'll burn their skin, they'll harm themselves, scar themselves in some way. They're self-mutilators a lot of times. They can be very suicidal. They'll talk about suicide sometimes, and sometimes they'll just make attempts at suicide. Borderline personalities have very intense moods that can last a few hours to a few days. And they're very unpredictable. It's not like, I might have said something last week about pattern behaviors, and there's certain parts of borderline personality that's somewhat pattern, but borderlines are very sporadic in how they react to things. So you don't know whether you're going to be their friend or their enemy from one day to another. I remember a situation with a lady that had borderline years ago, we had been coasting along, just best little friends. And the next thing I knew, I was in a chat room with her, and she began just freaking out. Oh, actually, I wasn't in the chat room. I was outside the chat room waiting to be invited in. And she started freaking out. Why are you saying all this stuff against me in the chat room? And I wasn't actually saying anything against her. What happened was I was typing to her in a private message, and the settings had been messed with, so people were seeing what I was typing to her. And she thought I was out to get her. I was out to make her look bad, and she just totally blew up at me. And then like within an hour later, she was calling me back. You don't know how very, 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 and I mean very, extremely, intensely sorry I am and how I treated you. I should have never accused you of such things. I mean, it was very dramatic. Very, and I'm like, it's okay, you know, it's cool. No, but you don't understand. That was so wrong. I'm so evil. I think I have demons inside of me. I mean, it was really over the top. And that is typical borderline behavior. So they do have those mood swings, and they do like you, hate you, love you, hate you, adore you, despise you at various times of the relationship. Wild mood swings, and it usually results in a person getting the blame. And if you're in the relationship with them, it's usually you. If you are with the person that has this disorder, you will notice that your moods sometimes follow suit and are very erratic, like the borderline person's moods can be. One thing that I definitely know somebody in my past was dealing with traits of this disorder is this person had said to me, you have a job when you're with me, and this was my spiritual leader at the time. Your job is to make sure I am never bored. You need to make sure that I always have fun things to do and always send me interesting and new things. Don't ever send me the same thing twice because I'll get bored of it. So your job is to entertain me, you know, and don't ever let a day, I mean it, not even a moment, a minute, a second of the day go by that I am not entertained. And I'm thinking, oh, cool, you know, I have this great responsibility. I can make sure this person is, you know, entertained. I'm a great entertainer. I'm funny, and, you know, and I can find things for her to do. I can send her stuff all the time online. I used to send her little Yahoo, what do you call them? Those little modicom type things, and some of them talk. And she got so bored of them so quickly. And oh my gosh. So basically they expect you to keep them occupied and entertained and never let them be bored. And if I didn't stay on that at all times, I was blamed. It was like, I'm having a bad day today. I know you tried, but, you know, you didn't quite keep up with me. And there was a moment when I just didn't have anything to do. And so I got depressed, and I don't know when I'll come out of it. But, you know, maybe next time just try to send me a joke or something. That's all you got to do. And this kept on like for months and months at a time, to the point where I had extreme pressure on me, always thinking, well, what will she be into? You know, what can I get her? This is Anita. I've used that name before. What can I entertain her with? How can I keep her from being upset? You know, you find yourself definitely walking on eggshells, but also just feeling a lot of blame and a lot of shame that you could not keep this person happy and entertained. Okay, so anyways, she actually said to me, you didn't find me something to do like I told you to, and now I'm depressed. Like it's my fault. Like her feelings are because of me. Yeah, no, you don't control another person's feelings. You really don't. And especially somebody with a disorder. That's from inside them. All right. Inappropriate, uncontrolled anger followed by shame and guilt. Now, when we do something wrong, or we make the mistake that cost somebody something, or we just goofed up, we should feel a little bit of, you know, oh man, what did I do? For somebody with borderline personality disorder, they do feel the guilt, definitely. They feel the shame, but it seems like they repeat the same things that got them in trouble in the first place. So they don't learn from history. They don't learn from the things they did wrong. So they are doomed to just keep repeating it and repeating it and repeating it, to the point where people are like, you know, don't they ever get it? Are they ever going to catch on to, you know, how to change this behavior and do better next time? Okay, so no, they don't. All right, severe stress. They are under a lot of stress, a lot. Often they take stress very, very personally, and some people say they wear their nerves on the outside of their skin. I think I said that last week. This stress, though, that a borderline feels often leads to paranoia or psychosis, to where they think everybody is out to get them, or they have really erratic thoughts that don't make sense. And the thing is, with borderlines, as opposed to narcissists, which you've also heard me talking about, borderlines actually do want love, and they want relationships, they want friends, they want partners, they want to be accepted, and they want attention. They really do, and it's not a bad thing to want these things. They don't have sinister motives. They're very, very needy for what they didn't receive in a healthy way as children. So they're not evil people that just want to punish you and be mean. It's just that they did not learn how to express their needs, and their needs were neglected completely. So because their needs were neglected, now as adults, they're trying to fulfill those needs, and they really don't know which way to do it that doesn't turn people off and upset people. Okay, let's talk about a trigger. The trigger for a borderline person is the need for constancy, for you to always be there, for things to always be a certain way, very ritual, basically, and a need, pardon me, for attention and affection and just basically acceptance. And their biggest fear is abandonment. So they're always trying to cling to you and hold on for dear life and never ever let you go. To the point where you feel like the life is being drained out of you sometimes. They will try to become such a part of your life that they will buddy up with your children. They will decide your animals should have a different name that they named them. I mean, they just decide that they are going to be family, and that's just how it is. They become enmeshed and engulfed in your life. And they often think that you should put their needs above your family's needs, which of course is not good. They are very insecure rather than addictive. Like for a narcissist, this attention seeking is because they are addicted to narcissistic supply, whereas the borderline is insecure rather than addicted. They have a fear of abandonment. They have a fear that you're not going to like them, so they cling. So they force you into relationships you're not ready for. So they presume upon you. As I said last week, they will pronounce you their best friend when you're like, I barely know the person. But in their mind, you are it. And a narcissist, on the other hand, isn't looking for a friendship or a relationship with you. They are looking for you to adore them or to fear them, whichever comes first. And they will stop at nothing to get that. But a borderline just really does want a relationship. So there is difference in the two. Borderlines, I talked about the suicidal threats and attempts, so I won't go back into that. Oh, by the way, if you do hear from somebody and they're talking about killing themselves, and they have a plan or they don't have a plan, do not take this lightly. Report it immediately, because you don't know what's in their head. You don't know what they're thinking. They have very, very damaged self-worth, and their mind may be telling them, you know, nobody's going to miss you. Look at all the, you know, bad things you've done. Look at all the friendships you ruined. You can't even keep this friend happy. You know, you're a bad person. You don't deserve to be here. The world will be happier without you. And you know, you're not in someone's head. You don't know what hurt they're going through. So if you hear somebody, even somebody with borderline personality disorder, say that they are, you know, thinking of ending it all or feel the world will be better without them, you know, they may act on their threats, and you don't know if they will or not. So always, always get them help. Report it. It doesn't mean that you have to blame yourself if they do take their life. That doesn't mean it was something you did or did not do if they end their lives. Unfortunately, personality disorders, especially untreated ones, can often result in the loss of people, and it's sad, but it does happen. Okay. As far as facial expressions, somebody with borderline personality usually has very unnatural facial expressions. I'm not going to get into that a lot because that goes really deep into the study of that kind of thing, and I don't know enough information about it. I just know that Oftentimes they will cry at odd moments when there's nothing to cry about, or they'll laugh at odd moments when there's nothing funny going on. Sometimes a borderline can have moments of realism where they are really connected to reality. Where unlike the narcissist who really hardly ever connects with reality, they're driven by that urge to, have that supply. But a borderline person really wants to be neurotypical. They wish they were normal. A lot of them know that they're not, but they don't know how to stop what's going on in their life and the things that are making them do the things they don't want to be doing. They're not dissociating for attention or acting out to annoy you. They really are struggling with something. That doesn't give them an excuse to victimize you, because they should go and get help for it. But there is a reason why they do what they do. It's kind of like, I was telling my daughter today when I was watching this one video, the guy said they want to punch victims in the face and then blame the person that they punched for their knuckles hurting. It's kind of the way they perceive things. Borderlines often have dysphoria. It's a prolonged depression. It goes on for a long, long time. I remember the one lady I was with that I'm pretty convinced had borderline and possibly narcissistic traits had told me that she was depressed. She told me and another person that we were all friends together with. She said, I'm depressed and there's nothing you can do to bring me out of it. I don't know what it is. I'm just going to be in a funk for days, and I don't know how long it'll work, how long it'll last. I don't know what'll work to bring me out of it. I said, can I sing to you? It usually cheers you up. No, you don't understand. It's not like that. It's not going to be one of those times, Laura. It's something that I go through every once in a while, and you can't bring me out of it. I just got to come out of it when I come out of it. And she was not kidding. She was in an extreme depression. Nothing I did to entertain her, to be her friend, to comfort her, to pray with her, whatever, nothing worked. Pardon me again. Oh man, your voice gets really, throat gets dry when you talk a lot. Anxiety. Their anxiety can last from a few moments to a few days. Black and white thinking. All or nothing thinking. They will think of people in terms of, she's a moron, he's a murderer, they're boring, you're beautiful. There's nothing like, well, he probably had a bad day, but he's probably a good guy. No, he's not good. He's evil. Look at how he talked to me. He's just evil. He's just a mean person. I don't want to know him. That's borderline thinking. And yes, I have been guilty as charged of that one in the past. Not so much now, but I've got to watch it, because that's definitely something that once you get in that mode of thinking, you tend to have a hard time coming out of it. Okay. Borderline people often avoid getting involved in things because they're afraid that if they get involved, how do I know how long this is going to last? These people might leave me. This thing might end. This group might close down. So they just don't get involved to begin with, because they can't handle that intense feeling that comes with abandonment or closing down of something or ending of something. Most people, in general, can feel different emotions at the same time, but somebody with borderline personality cannot handle that. They are either up or they're down. It's always in the extremes. So, for instance, if I'm sitting here, I'm thinking, yeah, my throat's sore and I'm kind of tired, but I'm happy to be here and I'm happy to be talking to you. And I'm looking forward to my husband coming home later. They can't process all that. It's just very cut or dry. Right now, my throat hurts. I'm dying. I feel like I'm sick. I think I should go to the hospital. No, I probably shouldn't go to the hospital, because they're not going to do anything anyway. They don't like me. They all hate me. They're sick of me coming there. And it'll just go into this tirade of endless, negativity. Or if they're up, oh, wow, it's such a beautiful day. I just love it today. Aren't you happy? You should be happy. Are you happy that I'm with you? I hope you're happy. I'm trying to make you happy. I'm trying to be a good friend to you. It's almost like a manic, but I really don't think borderlines feel true mania. That's a bipolar person. They have those really high highs. Borderlines just kind of flop, and you just don't know which one you're going to get from time to time. And definitely, if anybody else has more information about this, please do chime in. leave me comments, whatever, because I don't know it all. I only know what I've studied and my own experiences. That's all I can comment on legitimately. All right. Borderlines will cry at incorrect times. They will laugh at incorrect times. They see the world in general as dangerous and out to get them a lot of times. Now, these borderline patterns are not something you can specifically see all the time, but they can be triggered by the way you said something, a sound in the air, a gesture, the way you sit, the way you look at them, a joke you told. There's no definites on this. The borderline may magnify whatever happened and become very irritable and angry, and you won't necessarily even understand why. And sometimes they can't even tell you themselves. They just know that something you did just really torqued them, and they're angry and they hate you at the moment. Okay. Borderlines have perceived attacks, so they think you're out to get them, they think you're punishing them, you don't like them. They can become very paranoid that you're trying to harm them at that point, and nothing you say is going to convince them otherwise. Okay, so these are different traits of the borderline personality. There's a lot of different things you can read up on and learn about this disorder. All I can say is be careful. If you are dealing with somebody that has this disorder, it's very difficult. They have very unstable relationships, as we said earlier. There is, however, a light at the end of the borderline tunnel. It's called dialectical behavior therapy. And Marsha Linehan was the lady that developed this type of therapy years ago. The reason why this therapy was developed is because originally Miss Linehan had been using cognitive behavioral therapy with people with borderline personality disorder. But the very nature of the disorder causes the person with borderline to distrust people, especially therapists, definitely. And a lot of times, because of the intensity in a therapy session, a borderline person could not stay put during the session and would often fire their therapist or move on elsewhere. So dialectical behavior therapy dealt with a little bit more of the specific things that a borderline person would be dealing with, like the fears of abandonment and the all or nothing thinking and some of those other things that maybe someone with a different disorder, they didn't have that issue. So it's specifically to help them regulate their perceptions, their emotions, their reactions, and it's very helpful therapy. I actually have videos on my channel about DBT, dialectical behavior therapy. And it sounds like a wonderful process. I personally can't practice it because I'm not a psychotherapist or a psychiatrist or whatever. I would love to learn more about it so I could use some of the techniques with people that are my clients, but I haven't gotten to that point yet. Anyways, so that is all I have right now on the borderline personality disorder. I can't remember what Miss Shawnee said I'll be talking about next week. Maybe she can type it in here and I can remember. But at any rate, okay, looks like we have some comments here, which I am not seeing. So I'm going to try to minimize my screen a little bit and see if I can see anything. No? I don't know. Let's see here. Okay, I'm not seeing a comment. I'm not sure. It might have just been my comments from earlier. Well, anyways, I am opening up the floor to a Q&A session now for anybody that did show up. And if you didn't, you will definitely be watching this video later on. And that's fine, too. I would have loved to have people here. And if you are here, my screen isn't letting me see that. So, anyhow, if anybody is here, Shawnee, besides you, please type in and let me know. Perhaps you're not even here anymore. I don't know. But that is all I have today. So does anybody have any questions at all? Possibly. I will wait a few minutes. We'll see if anybody does. If not, I will conclude and move on with my evening and bid you all a good night. Questions? Anyone? All right. I'm not seeing anything. Let me type something in. See if we can get this thing working here. Okay, I'm seeing my typing. That's good. Okay. Well, I am not seeing anything. So I am going to conclude here. But I will tell you this. Right now, which is June 17th, 2017, until July 17th, 2017, I am offering coaching services, life coaching, of course, for $30, which is a $20 savings off my general cost of $50. I am hoping somebody that has been wanting to talk with me that just didn't have as much as what it used to be or is normally, that you will be able to now get in touch with me and talk to me about whatever it is that might be troubling you, and get some coaching and some direction on what you can do next, and maybe some validation on, are you dealing with somebody with a disorder? Because I can definitely tell you that in most cases. Anyways, I do hope to hear back from people how they like the broadcast tonight. I will conclude here. I hope everybody has a wonderful, wonderful evening and a very happy weekend. I will be back next week. I am not exactly sure what I'll be talking about, but I will be back here with a topic, and I will definitely announce it before I open the room. So, everybody, have a wonderful, wonderful evening. I am sorry if I was not able to get to any comments. I'm going to check one thing here real quick, so stay with me a minute. Just one moment. Please stand by. I'm hoping this program went well tonight because I was having a little bit of computer problems today. All right. Okay. And on that note, I am going to conclude and hope everybody has a great, fantastic evening the rest of the evening. All right. Have a great night. And we'll see you soon. Remember, eyes wide open, moving forward. Night, everybody.